All right, ladies and gentlemen. So we are talking about the About Me poster now, and we're wanting to incorporate emphasis and balance. So the easiest way to incorporate emphasis is first off, you want to make sure that your title really, really stands out. So we want to color maybe that's the opposite of your background, um, and we want something that's just really going to pop that you can see from far away. So right now I have kind of an off yellow. Let's see what happens. That definitely pops it out more. So if I were to maybe stick to like brighter colors, I might be able to get, that red is not quite doing it. Let's see if I can go in here by double clicking and maybe just bump it up a little bit and maybe lighten it. I think I want to go even brighter. All right, so that color seems to do the trick. So let's go ahead and just go yellow and red on here. And all right, there it is. So if you ever want to see what it looks like, click on the selection tool and then do a Shift W, and you can see the full screen. I don't really know if I like the red on that, so I think I'm just going to make it all yellow. And that seems to pop. The opposite of blue is orange, so I could also, experiment with some different colors. Maybe try like a little bit more on the orange side of things. But yeah, I think that that's definitely popping. Shift W again. You can see what that looks like. So as far as hierarchy, we want to have an order of importance. So I have the number 1 here. Number 2 is going to be my headings. Number 3 is going to be my small text. So you're definitely going to want to make sure that you put a heading for each of your things. And if you don't, if you're just writing information about yourself, you're going to need to somehow break it up, maybe change what you wrote and make sure that you have different categories so that you can break it up like this. So I got, looks like music right here. I got video games that I like. I got movies that I like and some interests. One little tip is if your text box gets too big, just double click on the bottom right hand corner, no, the bottom of it, and that will resize the text box so that it fits your text. So if your text is, if you do that, it's just going to shrink it so that it fits right there. And that'll make these text boxes a little bit easier to manage and move around. And if you do the right side, it'll do the same thing. All right. So now we have some hierarchy. We got a 1, we got a 2, we got a 3. And then the next thing, maybe this font needs to be a little bit brighter so I can see it better. That's probably too bright, so I'd probably want to take this same color right here. You can add swatches by, once you pick a color, by hitting this plus button, and it'll create a new color swatch. So now I can just use that color on all of these, and it matches my title. Gets us a nice consistent look. You'll notice that the heading font is bigger and bolder than this font, but it doesn't take too much attention from the title. So you should still see the title first, then this, then this. The next thing we want to do is balance it. And notice I don't have any images in here. And it might be a good idea to kind of move your images off to the side for a while. But one thing I could do is I could stack these all on top of each other. And you might find that you're out of room. So if I select them all, I can shrink them, but you'll notice that all that does is shrinks the text box. So if you hold down the control key while you shrink them, so let me select all these again, and I hold down control, it'll actually shrink the entire text and the text box so that you'll be able to get those to fit. So to make this feel balanced, I want to make sure that all these are kind of stacked evenly. I want to put the headings close to the words, and I might want to make this one line. See how that looks. And let's see how that goes. Okay. And then you can see that these headings are all kind of staggered, so I'm just going to select them all with Shift push them over to the left so that they all kind of line up. And that feels a little bit more organized. The space between these should also be consistent. So I might need to do a little bit of finagling to try to get that so it feels a little bit more even. And a well-balanced composition is going to have balance between your spaces as well. And this gives me a lot of nice space for images. So I could put some images here, thinking about, balancing it. Maybe I want to just incorporate some very horizontal images. It's not a bad idea to take some image frames and kind of lay them out first so that you have everything how it's going to be composed. And then you can kind of come in and throw your pictures. If you already have some pictures, you can just copy and paste the images right into here. So let's remember how to do that. So I got burgers, burritos. I'll just put a burrito. And I want a long picture so that it can fit, because I have a very landscape image. So maybe something like this. And I'll copy that image. Paste into. Make sure you click on the frame first and then you paste into. And then click on the frame fitting button right here to get that to fit. I like graphic design, video games, hiking. Let's do hiking. Once again, I want a landscaped photo. So something like this might be good because I think I can get that to fit nicely. Paste into and fit with that first one. And that works. Video games. Oh man, I'm playing Baldur's Gate 3 now. So once again, find an image that's going to fit into your frame. I don't know if this is going to fit because it's very, very long, but let's see what happens. Yeah, that kind of works. Other than that, you don't have to balance it like this. Sometimes it's a good idea to stagger, so you could go every other one could be, on the right side. Maybe I could make these even line up on the right side, or at least the title. That doesn't look good. But yeah, feel free to get a little creative with this. But just make sure that, your text box lines up. So at least these bullets here, they should line up as well as you possibly can. So that's something you could definitely do. You could also do, some people get a little creative and do like a radial balance. So you could have your title in the middle and oops. You could have stuff kind of like coming out of this from each direction. So you could have your food here and your interests over here, your video games, music, movies. So you could definitely get creative with that. You could even put some shapes around it and then put the images. I would definitely do a different type of frame then, maybe something like this. But again, it's not a bad idea to have your images, your image frames laid out first before you start putting your images in them, so you kind of know how that's going to work. So interests are going to be, I'm definitely going to have smaller photos if I'm going to do it like this, but I think I could get it to work. So where'd my burrito go? There you go. You could even do something where it's all down the center. Everything is like centered and your images are off to the side. There's a lot of different ways. You can be asymmetrical or symmetrical. But just make sure that you incorporate balance, emphasis, as well as hierarchy into your composition.